Well, hi guys, how are you? Welcome to the Week 13 NFL live stream for BettingPros. Myself, Matt Perrault, alongside Pat Fitzmaurice. We are here to break down Week 13. Yes, everyone wants to know who is in, who is out. Once we do know the four, we will tell you once it does get posted. So don't worry, we got you covered for both college football and the NFL. Week 13 means Baltimore, Buffalo, the Bears, the Raiders, the Vikings, and the Giants. 6 teams, Pat, all on buys. This is a fun week to bet games, is it not?
Oh, it really is, man. And let's face it. I mean, we've got some pretty bad matchups on the slate, but at least the bad matchups are all close. I think we're in for sort of an unpredictable Week 13.
So just so you guys know, I do not know if I'll have a long teaser today. The formula, there's not games right now that are fitting, and there may be, if we see some movement, I may be forced to kind of modify the Wong a little bit here and take a couple of really ugly games. So I'll watch and wait. We get inside of an hour from kickoff. That's when we can play it with totals of 49 or under. There's just a lot of garbage on the slate today. It's a tough one because nobody else has buys after this week. We are into the home stretch for the rest of the regular season for the NFL. So get it out of the way. I mean, Week 13 is really late for a bye week. I kind of feel for these teams.
We do have 2 on bye next week, Matt. We've got Washington and I believe Atlanta.
Oh, I thought it was
Atlanta or Arizona. Either Arizona or Atlanta, one of the A's.
In a Week 14 bye.
Yeah, strangely, just a 2-week bye.
I apologize. Thanks for the correction. I did not realize. I thought that's why we have 6 teams on buys this week. I was like, why do you have 6 teams on buys? This is crazy because nothing was on buy last week.
Right, and a Week 14 bye is nuts.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, congratulations! If you're out of the playoffs, Chase, that's great. So I get to have my vacation late and then play 2 weeks. That's an interesting thing to look at for Week 15. Teams coming off of a bye in Week 14. Do they care if they're already dead? If they're eliminated, how does that impact the team? Like, they may play a lot of rookies. They may punt the rest of the year. That's an interesting look for next week. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Or I guess week after next. I appreciate that. All right, weather is absolutely gross in New England. Chargers on the road at the Patriots. The number is either 5, 4.5, or 4, depending on where you're looking. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy in the market. 39, though, that is cemented across the market. Opened at 42.5, 39. Pat, I'll be honest. I took a line through this game and I drew it right through it and said, I am not betting a side or a total. Do you have a feel for this one?
I'm sort of interested in the under here, Matt. I agree with you. Neither side appeals. Like, I can't take the Chargers laying 5.5 to anyone on the road, especially for an early start on the East Coast. But there's no way I'm betting the Patriots either at this point with what they've shown us this season. But you can definitely talk me into the under. I mean, a Bailey Zappi-led Patriots team depleted at wide receiver. The Chargers with their lack of firepower at pass catcher, like Keenan Allen kind of banged up, like he's the only decent pass catcher they have. You could definitely talk me into the under here in the wet weather and just hope you don't get some wild turnovers, fumble sixes or something like that. That's what could push this over. But do I see these 2 offenses doing it? No.
The only thing I've got, I'm betting a prop bet in this game. I'm taking Ramondre Stevenson over 63.5 rushing yards because I think the Patriots are just going to try to run the ball as much as possible. And I think you can kind of move the ball in the Chargers defense on the ground. So I think the Patriots are going to have no choice because if they ask Bailey Zappi to throw in the weather, just throwing period, as you mentioned, to whom are they throwing the football to? This is one of the worst Patriot offenses I've ever seen. And that is saying something given what happened last year with how bad the play calling was last year. But they had more talent on last year's roster than the Patriots roster for this season. They want to lose. They're really the only team legitimately tanking. We're seeing reports coming out that the Panthers are going to offer a lot to Belichick. If he is available, they're going to give him, David Tepper's going to give whatever he wants. Now, does Cam Newton know anything? I don't know. But Cam is reporting that watch for Bill Belichick with Carolina next year. Okay. Bill might do the team a favor on the way out. Let's just go and lose every game we've got. I think they lose today. I want them to lose today. I don't know if they're going to, just given the Chargers' early start time, nasty weather, and the Chargers aren't a very good football team either. And Brandon Staley may be a dead man walking. Detroit in New Orleans. Man, this is an interesting game. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people I know, like New Orleans plus the points. It's 4 or 4.5. Total is 47.5. We are indoors with two dome teams. Pat, over?
Oh, man. And this total has really moved up. You could have talked me into the over earlier when it was 44.5, but now sitting at 47. At 47, I kind of like it under, Matt. Believe it or not, like this, the Saints don't have much of a running game, and Derek Carr has been having all sorts of trouble getting the ball into the end zone once they get it inside the red zone. The Saints defense, generally a pretty good unit. I know they're really banged up, but I just don't know if the Lions hang 30 or 40 on them this week, and I don't know if the Saints can do their part to get this over. And then I'm leaning the Lions. Like, they've had extra time to prepare. They have to be stinging from that loss to the Packers on Thanksgiving, where they were just, everyone in America is watching that game, and you just go out and lay an egg to a division rival that's having a down year. So I think they're going to bounce back. We've only seen the Saints cover, 2 or 3 times all season. So I do like the Lions here, and I'm leaning very slightly towards the under.
It's one of those pros versus Joes game. The professionals are all on the dog. The public is all over the Lions. I don't have a feel for either side. I lean towards your side. I think the Lions are the better football team. I think the extra rest matters. You have like the mini bye to get yourself right and to say, guys, do we want to make the playoffs? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, we've got to win games like this. These are bad teams we're facing. We must beat the teams we're expected to beat. Does that mean they win by over 4.5? I don't know, but I do lean towards your side on that. And the over is 48 at Caesars now. So we're definitely seeing a lot of play on the over in this game between the Lions, and who have been an over team, mind you, right now. So maybe if you want to chase steam, the over would be the play if you're going to chase the number move. The Falcons are on the road at the Jets. The number is up to 2 for Atlanta. The total is 33. 33, Pat. This is Iowa. This is below Iowa, Michigan, which went under yesterday. 33. Atlanta winning on the road.
Yeah, right. But like, are the Jets, like, what kind of headspace are they in right now, Matt? Like, I feel like that ship has sort of hit the iceberg, and now they're going for the life rafts. Like, I don't know what kind of effort we're going to get from the Jets today, quite honestly. So
so let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure.
Aaron Rodgers is practicing. So the team knows that in order for Rodgers to play, they have to actually be relevant or alive and not eliminated. Right. So I just wonder, with the level of poor play we have seen out of the road version of the Falcons, I just wonder, are the Jets live to win the game? I mean, they're at home.
Yeah. Like, if in the pools where I am forced to make a pick in this game, I have picked the Jets.
Okay.
But like, I do not want to put my money money on either side in this one, man. And like, you could have talked me into the under when it was 35.
Right.
Boy, 33 is like, I just can't bet it at 33.
Yeah. So we'll see. Everyone's waiting. They're going to make everybody wait. By the way, if you're curious about the committee, they're going to wait till 9:25 probably to make this announcement Pacific time. They're going to bleed this all the way down to make everybody pay attention, because I know the world's waiting to see what the 4 teams. This is just like the NCAA tournament selection show. It's like, just give us the darn bracket, and they make you wait and wait and wait, and people get mad. This is even less. This is 4 teams, so they're making it see where even longer. So they've not made the announcement yet. And the social media world is not very happy with this. This game may be part of the Wong teaser. I may give the Jets 8 points here and tease them up to 8. I don't know yet. I got to figure this out as to where we go. I am on Tim Boyle under 176.5 passing yards in this game. Can you get behind a lack of a passing offense for the Jets today?
I think I can. I mean, one viable pass catching weapon in Garrett Wilson. Well, 2, I guess, if you count Breece Hall, but still, Tim Boyle's just not a good quarterback. I mean, his career average per attempt is like 5 yards, basically. So, I'm with you on that one, Matt.
Yeah, under 176.5 at -110. We go to the next game, which is Arizona on the road at Pittsburgh. As we mentioned, East Coast weather is not great at the moment. Total's up to 41, which is interesting. The number is up to 6.5, which is interesting. Opened at 3. We've seen tremendous steam here on the Steelers. I have taken this number from 6.5 down to 0.5. I'm teasing this down. I do think the Steelers win. My two survivor picks, in case if you're alive still in a survivor pool, would be the Steelers money line and the Jaguars money line on Monday night. Can the Cardinals win at what used to be called Heinz Field?
I don't think they can, Matt. I like that call, and I actually feel pretty comfortable betting the Steelers and laying the 6.5. Like we saw them look really good offensively in their first game without Matt Canada, who they threw to the curb. So they averaged 6.2 yards per play last week. They didn't score a lot of points, sputtered a little bit once they got inside the red zone, but they looked really good. And the Cardinals can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. I think all of Arizona's top 3 cornerbacks are rookies right now. So we should see Pittsburgh put points on the board this week. And I don't know if Arizona's going to be able to do that. The Steelers' pass defense has been really good lately. And, I don't think the Cardinals are going to run all over the Steelers either. So I think this game should be pretty one-sided.
I think the turnovers is why the number is going up. The potential for the Cardinals to be strip sacked and picked off, and the defense because Minka Fitzpatrick's playing for the Steelers secondary. Yeah. So I think you got a healthy-ish Steelers defense, bad weather, outdoors, East Coast time for a West Coast team who's dead, who do not need it, but the Steelers need it. So this is a really hostile environment for this Cardinals team to walk into. I don't mind laying the 6.5. It's not a horrible play at all to lay the 6.5. I just think it's safer just to pull it down. Steelers -0.5. It's 6.5. You could do a 6-point teaser and pull it down, and we'll pair it with another game later on. But I do think Pittsburgh winds up winning this game, and maybe relatively easily. Okay, so the Colts are taking on the Titans on the road. This number has been cemented at 1. It has not moved. Titans it's a 42. Tennessee +7 here on this one, or sorry, -1, +1. You can take it up to 7 if you would like. Can the Titans win this game? Can they keep this game close? Because this is a huge game for the season to keep the Titans' hopes alive.
I think they can, Matt. It's a Mike Vrabel team at home. I don't want to bet against a Mike Vrabel team at home. And the Colts, their run defense has not been good ever since Grover Stewart was given the PED suspension. They haven't been able to stop the run. They're going to be without their best cornerback, Kenny Moore, today. So defensively, they are really underpowered. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans had some success moving the ball. That's not a normal state of affairs for the Titans offense, but I think they might be able to put enough points on the board to win at home today. So I don't really have any interest in betting this game, but I don't think the Colts are a safe play in survivor pools or anywhere else today.
No, I would agree with that. And see, this is the problem with, if you're, a hardliner and say, okay, the Wong teaser's got to be exactly what Professor Wong said in 2001. This number needs to be 1.5 because we need to get over the 7. You can get to 7, and that would bring in a push potential, which is not a horrible thing, but that's where I'm waiting to see if we get a 1.5. And as of right now, there's not a book in America that has 1.5, not even offshore. There's nobody at 1.5. So I'm hoping that before we wrap here in the next 15 minutes that we see something pop here on 1. And if not, I'm going to have to go to the Discord channel, which is bettingpros.com/chat. I'll put it in the Daily Juice portion of the Discord channel because I don't know. This isn't the other game that I was looking at for the Wong teaser going, okay, it's not there. Oh, there's the 1.5. DraftKings just went to 1.5. So it will qualify. Perfect. Okay. So you can get 7.5 at DraftKings. That's perfect. Okay, so we can get 7.5 here. So the Wong teaser is going to be Jets +8, Titans +7.5. So there is your official play for the Daily Juice for the Wong teaser. How do you feel about that, Pat? Which side burns me?
If anything, I would say you get burned on the Jets Falcons, but I'm not I'm not predicting that, man. I do like this combination for you.
It's really ugly with really low totals, a 33 and a 42, and we've got 8 and 7.5.
These feel like one-score games, though, don't they?
100%. Yeah. That's the point. They're bad games, but they feel like one-score games. Washington is hosting the Miami Dolphins, the biggest number on the board at the moment, 8.5. The number's coming down, which is interesting here. Oh, wait, we might be able to get into another Wong teaser if you want. 8.5, you can pull the Dolphins down below 3 at DraftKings. This is interesting money coming in here on DraftKings. Commanders keep this game even kind of close. The total is 49.5.
Maybe. I mean, it is a big number for sort of a spunky home dog that can put points on the board. But man, I just feel like the Dolphins could pour on the points against the Commanders. Like their pass defense is so bad, and this is exactly the sort of wide receiver duo that can take advantage of all the problems the Washington Commanders have had with pass coverage. So like it just feels like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are going to go absolutely bonkers in this game. So like they could keep it close, but
would you replace in my Wong teaser? Would you replace the Dolphins? Would you put the Dolphins in there over the Jets and pull them down to Dolphins minus 2.5? You could do Dolphins minus 2.5 and Titans plus 7.5 and get rid of the Jets.
Oh, I think I might do that. I don't have enough trust in a Tim Boyle led team, Matt. I think I would rather have the Dolphins.
I'm strongly thinking about it at the moment. Now that we're down to 8.5, there's all 8.5. There's 4 8.5s across the country popping. So there's money coming in here on Washington because of the weather, I believe. But Miami's not going to lose on the road, are they?
I don't think so.
To Washington? I
don't think so. I'd be shocked.
When they need it in their path. I mean, I've seen everyone like Tyreek Hill today big in this game, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Receiving?
Yes. Yeah.
So
the over, and I know it's gone up, and now it's like this morning it was, I believe, 100.5 yards, and it was minus 30 to get the over on Tyreek Hill. I think I'd take the over if he was at 125.5.
Well, then I'm taking Miami. Then if you're telling me Tyreek Hill could have 125 yards receiving, they're not losing the game if he has 125 yards receiving.
Yeah, the Commanders have no one who can guard him. They just don't.
Oh, beautiful. All right, so let's swap that. All right, so it's Miami 2.5, Titans plus 7.5. I feel much more comfortable with that than I do about the Jets and Tim Boyle and the lack of that. So, all right. So that will be the Wong teaser for today. I like that a lot more. I was very much looking for a number that, and man, 8.5s are popping everywhere now. Wow. Okay. So there is money on Washington coming in, and I don't really agree with that, to be quite honest. The last game in the early slate is Denver at Houston. This is the first time it's me versus you. I'm on Houston. You're on Denver. Why do you like Denver?
Which makes me nervous, Matt, because I think I'm sub 500 when we go head to head here on these. Yeah, I mean, I think the Texans have been overvalued in the betting markets for a while now. And as evidence of that, I mean, they're 3-2 in their last 5 games, 1-4 versus the spread over that stretch. So the Broncos are hot. They've won 5 straight. A couple of those wins have been quality. It just hasn't been a cupcake buffet. They did beat the Chiefs and the Bills over that stretch. And while the Denver run defense is still kind of suspect, the pass defense has been much better lately. So I think that's going to help them keep CJ Stroud under control. I mean, Stroud's going to hit some plays. He always does. But I think they can keep him from going bonkers in this game. And I like getting the 3 points. I think this is going to be a down to the wire affair.
So I like the Texans because I don't think the Broncos being overvalued. I think the Broncos are being overvalued a little bit here as well. I think people are not Texans. If the Texans were on the road, I would never bet this game. But Houston at home, they lost a divisional game last week to Jacksonville, a really hard fought game where I think they made a lot of mistakes that I think are correctable. But I don't know if this defense for Denver is going to be able to slow down Houston at home. Nico Collins and Tank Dell and the running game with Singletary. And I really like CJ Stroud a lot. I think this game actually goes over. I think this is actually a pretty entertaining football game going back and forth. It's only 3. I got a feeling, Pat, we might both push on this. This thing might land 3.
It could.
It might be. Texas might win this game by 3. And then we're both just ripping the ticket up saying, okay, no harm, no foul on this. But one way, I mean, it's one of those games where I think it was 3.5. I would take the Broncos, and at 2.5, I would 100% take the Texans. So I think this is a 3-point game one way or the other, and the Texans could go down at home, but losing back-to-back home games, that would be really detrimental, in my opinion, for their playoff chances.
Oh, big time. I mean, this is a huge game for wild card implications, Matt.
6 and 5. Absolutely. Right. They're both 6 and 5. And, I don't think the Texans are a playoff team, but I didn't think the Broncos had a shot in the hell to make the playoffs this year going into the year. I was like, Russ is done. Cooking is done. He's played his ass off. I mean, Russ has played really, really well. And so it's been really impressive to watch him perform this year. So this is a really fun game. I think this is actually the best game in the early slate to watch here. Everyone, and I mean everyone, I know, Pat, they are on the Panthers at +6, 5.5, 5, 4.5, 4. This number just keeps on coming down. We're now at 3. Some books have gone back to 3.5. Tampa Bay at home. Road dog Panthers with the dead cat bounce. On my other show called The Bostonian versus the Book, I'm 5-0 betting on teams that fired their coach on the next day, either coach or coordinator. 5-0. Do the Panthers win this game outright?
Is that the explanation for the plummeting line? You
100%.
think, Matt, the only thing was I understand the dead cat bounce after getting rid of Josh McDaniels, who was despised by the players.
Mm-hmm.
Like the locker room hated him. Was Frank Reich really that kind of coach? Like I don't feel like I feel like he's mostly been kind of a player's coach throughout his career. And like, it was just strictly a David Tepper versus Frank Reich sort of thing. So like, I don't know if the Panthers get the same sort of emotional lift that some of the other teams have gotten from firing their head coaches. So like, I'm not really, it kind of makes me more interested in betting the Buccaneers, but I'm probably just going to stay away from this game, honestly.
So here are the teams that did it. In hockey, the Edmonton Oilers and the Minnesota Wild fired their coach. They both won the next 2 games after firing their head coach. The Raiders fired their coach. They won the next week, although it was the Giants. So, Jets and the Giants back to back. They won the next 2. That happened. Matt Canada got fired from the Steelers. They won the next game. And then the Bills fired Ken Dorsey. They won the next game. So those are the 5 examples I have bet after this. I don't know what to make it. I don't know what to do with this. All the other ones, I was like, you know what? I can subscribe to this. This one, I'm like, I don't know. The other ones were at home. Some of them weren't home. Other ones had talent. Like the Edmonton Oilers were 3-9-1 when they fired their head coach. It's a really good hockey team. They're the best guy on the planet playing hockey in Connor McDavid. You can see why they would turn the corner. This team's a mess. The Panthers are awful. Like the Patriots and the Panthers have no offense, have no defense, have no talent, and no quarterback really. Bryce Young's, jury's still out. I don't know what to do with this. This game I need the Panthers to win this game because I have an under ticket, 6.5 under for the Bucs. This is one of the games I put in the win column for Tampa. They were to lose this. I feel kind of good about the fact that we might be able to get to that under 6.5 number for the Bucs if they were to lose this today. So I'm pulling for the Panthers. I don't know if I'm going to bet the Panthers. That's a little bit of a stretch to me on that. We go to the game of the day. San Francisco at Philadelphia. I am wearing the hat for the San Francisco 49ers. This is my West Coast team. This is my NFC team up against the Eagles on the road favorites. I like George Kittle to go over his receiving number today at 40. You can get it 47.5, 48.5, depending on where it is. I like Kittle to go over. I like the team total over 23.5 for the Niners. I don't know what to do with the side or total, Pat. Who wins?
I like the Eagles, Matt, but I want the 3 points rather than the money line. Like I want those points. I think it's going to be a close game. And it wasn't that long ago that the 49ers were on a 3-game losing streak. And I realize that when the 49ers are on, they can probably throw a heavier punch than any other team in the NFL. Undeniable. But they are up against a high quality opponent, 10-1. And it even at 10-1, it feels like the Eagles have left some meat on the bone just because their passing game has not been as effective as it was last season. So I can't bet the 49. I can't go against the Eagles as home dogs. I just
pause
can't.
it. The final college football rankings are out. They did what I said. They picked us. They picked our 4, Pat. Michigan's number 1. They will face Alabama, 1 versus 4. Washington's number 2. They will face Texas. We do not get a Big Ten, Pac-12, Rose Bowl closeout game. We get Alabama and Michigan. The winner of that game wins the national championship. I Florida State is 5. They got jumped. It's the right move, okay? It's a really bad message that gets sent, but the committee just goes, we're at 12 next year. Not our problem anymore. So this is never going to happen again. So we're okay. Georgia came in number 6 in the final rankings. Does that mean Florida State plays Georgia in a bowl game? Yikes. That would be not good for Florida State if that were to happen. But Michigan, Bama, Washington versus Texas. So unfortunately for my 10-1 ticket with FSU, that goes up in smoke. And now I have to bet Alabama to win it all. I can't wait to watch what the adjusted number is going to be for Alabama. I have a 10-1 on Michigan. We'll see what Alabama's number goes to. Bama's going to be favored in that game. The 4 seed's going to be favored to win it all, and Bama's going to be favored in that game. I can't wait. I mean,
we're going to have two really fun semis. I don't know how much fun we're going to have with the final, but I think the semis are going to be a lot of fun.
I don't know. Bama might smack Michigan. I mean,
think so?
Bama might. If Michigan can't move the football, I mean, bet the under. I mean, that's the play in that game is the under. But man alive, Michigan's offense against that Bama defense, the way they played yesterday against Georgia, they may have a real tough time running the football. And if they can't run the ball, J.J. McCarthy is not going to pick apart that secondary for the Crimson Tide. Nick Saban's going to win it all. I mean, it's insane. Nick Saban's going to win it all. Here's the dream. The dream for the committee is Alabama-Texas rematch in the championship game. That's your dream scenario.
Yeah.
That's a ratings bonanza if you get Alabama versus Texas for a national championship game. And man, Jalen Milroe, talk about where he was in that game against Texas and where he is now. Oh boy. So there you go.
What do you, if you were to guess what Alabama-Michigan opens at? Do you have a guess?
I'm going to say Alabama -4.
Really?
Is it out?
No, if it is, I don't know. I don't have it.
It's probably, my gut tells me they're going to put it out pretty fast because the bookmakers have already done the hypothetical on this. Well, Washington, Texas is out. No, not Bama, but Texas is -3.5 against Washington.
Sounds interesting. Okay.
And there's no line yet on Bama, Michigan, but because the bookmakers are probably scrambling to figure out what the hell to do with Alabama.
And I feel like that one. I feel like that one's going to be close to a pick 'em, Matt. I really do.
Wow. I would love to get Alabama on a pick. You give me Bama on a pick, I'm all in on Bama as a pick. Let's see. Alabama is a dog. Michigan is a 2.5 point favorite.
Wow.
Michigan -2.5. I got to make some phone calls when we get off the air.
I know how you're betting it.
I got to find out why that is. I am shocked that Alabama's a dog. That won't happen. They're going to get. So remember, why do lines get made? Everyone thinks it's a projection or a prediction. It's not. They put a line up to see what number the pros are going to take. The line move in that one will be quick and significant because we're under 3. If the pros like Michigan, that number will go to 3 fast. If they like Alabama, that number is going to be pick 'em right where you said. They want Bama money, obviously, which is stunning because the public's going to be on Alabama. Like they're going to see Alabama, Michigan. They're going to be betting Alabama. So Michigan opening as a favorite is really interesting. I swore it was going to be the other way around. Make them bet Michigan, and they're not. They're going to make them bet Bama. Whew. This is going to be an interesting month. This is going to be a lot of fun. Anyways, not while we're here. Back to San Francisco versus the Eagles. You like the Eagles plus the points. I like the pressure for the Eagles is going to be significant, and Brock's going to have to get the ball out of his hands quickly over the middle to his safety net, to his binky in George Kittle. If the Eagles lose this game, does it matter to you?
No.
Right.
Not really. We're still going to feel really good about both of these teams, I think.
Well, because is it next week the game that really matters? Not this week?
Yeah.
The Cowboys game for the Eagles. This is the one that this is a preview for an NFC Championship game potentially, but I feel like it means more to the Niners because of the 3-game losing streak that you mentioned. This is a bigger game for San Francisco than it is for Philadelphia.
And I feel like that has to be part of the line here, Matt.
It is.
But there's no way the Eagles are going to overlook the 49ers. That's just not going to happen. Like I'm not buying that should be a factor in the line here.
Yep, fair. We go to the last game in the evening session, afternoon session. Cleveland's on the road at the Rams. Welcome back, Joe Flacco. 3.5 is the number for the Rams here up against this really tough Browns defense. Can the Browns win with Joe Flacco on the road?
I think they can.
Woo,
I just like who are the Rams scaring? First of all, they have the far better defense, I believe.
Far
Like
better.
the Browns defense is legit. And like, oh man, like I don't want to get too excited about Joe Flacco, Matt. But like, remember last year when he was lighting it up for the Jets? At least he was putting up a lot of yardage. I feel like he gives the Cleveland passing game just enough teeth where that becomes like a credible offense, and pair the credible offense with the really good defense. And I don't think I understand why the line is coming down, and I still think it's too high. I'm putting a small bet on the Browns here.
I'm not touching this game. This is an ugly game.
40. I didn't want to early in the week, but like strangely the Joe Flacco thing has me a little more confident in the Browns, which should probably worry me.
So then we go to Sunday Night Football, Kansas City and Green Bay. I have two bets on this game. I am betting the under 43 in this one, not just because of the Monday night trend, which is 32 out of 35 games over the last two seasons have gone under, but because I don't think the Chiefs are going to score a ton in this game. And I've teased up the Packers from 6 to 12, Green Bay plus 12, and taken the Steelers down to a pick is my personal teaser for this one. I think the Packers might win the game outright, Pat. Well, where are you on the Sunday night game tonight?
Well, take what I say with a grain of salt, Matt, because I am a Wisconsin native and a lifelong Green Bay Packers fan. But if anything, I feel like when it comes to betting the Packers, I'm sort of an anti-homer. Like I tend to be very pessimistic about the Packers. I love the Packers in this one. And Jordan Love has been playing so well. And I think there's a bit of a revenge narrative for him because he made his first NFL start 2 years ago when Aaron Rodgers had COVID-19 in Kansas City. Steve Spagnuolo blitzed the hell out of him that day. And Love just wasn't ready for it. He didn't have a lot of prep time, didn't play well. The Packers defense really put the clamps on Patrick Mahomes that day, but like the Packers couldn't even pick up a first down, lost the game. And now, I mean, Love has been handling pressure really well. Like his passer rating against the blitz, I think it's like 4th or something over the last month. And of course, the Chiefs are going to run into a boisterous Sunday night crowd in Green Bay. It's going to be some chilly weather. And like the Packers defense has been playing pretty well. I don't think they've given up more than 24 points since like week 3 or 4. And I think they've given up 18.3 points a game over their last 7 games. So like they're playing well. I feel like this stays a 1-score game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did win it outright.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think this idea that the Chief offense got fixed last week, they played the Raiders. Okay.
Right.
Raiders had Spillane, their number one defender, was banged up. They were on a pitch count for Max Crosby. That was not, I mean, their defense is bad anyway, but they were banged up in that game. And that's why the Chiefs were able to move the ball the way they did in the second half against the Raiders. They went down 14-0. They rallied, but that was a Raider problem, not really a Chief being fixed problem. I like this Packers defense. They showed me something on the road last week against the Lions and they shocked everybody. I think the Chiefs are in real trouble tonight. This number is crashing. It was 6. It's coming way down. Some books are at 4.5. What's your gut on the total though? I think under 43. I like dog in the under in this game.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the one thing, and this sort of scares me, the one thing I'm concerned about betting the Packers, Matt, is that the Chiefs have been so much better defensively against the pass than they are against the run. I don't think the Packers are really equipped to take advantage of the Chiefs' run defense with Aaron Jones out and only A.J. Dillon, who's not, like, he can pick up 3 or 4 yards at a crack, but isn't a big play guy. And, like, will Jordan Love be able to handle that blitz well? Like he's handled it well lately, but I'm not convinced that he is a blitz killer. So, yeah, like I can buy it. I don't have a real strong read on the total here, but like I buy your reasoning for liking the under.
We are not on Monday, obviously, but any thoughts on the Monday night game with Jags and the Bengals?
Oh man, I just don't want to touch it. Like the point total is just too high. Like Jake Browning is not a horrible quarterback, but I think the line is probably right where it should be.
I missed two of my props. I guess one of my props. I like Raheem Mostert over 48.5 rushing yards today for the Dolphins against Washington. That kind of fits into my Miami narrative there for the Wong teaser. What did we miss for you, Pat, for your picks?
Yeah, I mean, so the best bets are two home dogs, the Packers and the 49ers. And
Nice.
then I also like the Broncos. So we covered those already, and we covered liking the over on Tyreek Hill, whatever it is, 180 yards, bet the over. It's going to be a big day for him. The other ones I really like, I like Brandon Ayuk over 59.5. I know you like Kittle, Matt, but good wide receivers have just been going bonkers against the Eagles lately. The Bills, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis last week. Not long ago, it was CeeDee Lamb hanging 191 yards on them. Jahan Dotson had his only 100-yard game of the season against the Eagles. So Ayuk should be able to clear 59.5 pretty easily. And I like Najee Harris over 55.5 rushing yards. Pittsburgh's running game dysfunctional early in the year, but they've averaged 174 rushing yards over their last 4 games. Harris has averaged 71.3 a game over that stretch, and he's cleared this number 3 of his last 4. Look, the Cardinals were destroyed by Kyren Williams last week. And the week before, Devin Singletary had over 100 rushing yards against them. So I think Najee can clear 55.5 today pretty easily.
So yeah, those are my, just to reset my plays as well. Houston -3, under 43 for KC and Green Bay. Steelers tease to a half. Packers tease up to 12. Miami teased down to 2.5. Titans teased up to 7.5. Tim Boyle under 176 passing yards. Ramondre Stevenson over 63.5 yards passing. Raheem Mostert over 48.5 yards rushing. Sorry, Stevenson's rushing. Sorry, not passing. Stevenson's rushing. It'd be wild. 63-yard passing for him would be great. Rushing for Stevenson, rushing for Mostert, and Kittle receiving over 47.5 yards receiving for George Kittle. The odds are out for the national championship. Alabama is already getting bet. Michigan's plus 150. Alabama's plus 220. There were 240 a second ago. Texas plus 280. And Washington is 7-1 to win it all right now for the college football playoff. I'm telling you, Alabama's going to wind up being the favorite, which would be very weird because they may be the favorite in the futures market and a dog here to start. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. The number hasn't moved. It's still Michigan -2.5. I don't agree with it, but what do I know? I'm not a bookmaker. Wow. Pat, good stuff, my friend. Thanks for hanging out. We'll do it again soon for Pat Fitzmaurice. Well, hold on. Before I let you go, you guys have not downloaded the BettingPros app yet. You guys should go and do so because there you can track all your bets, all your plays. It's free. You can sync your sports books right up to the BettingPros app, Google Play, Apple Store. You can follow and track your own performances. I do this. You guys should do this. It really helps you when it comes to impulse betting, in-game betting, things you shouldn't be doing, going, oh my gosh, I'm really bad at that. I shouldn't bet that. So you can do those things. You can follow other users. You can tail their bets, and you can see how their betting instincts are stacking up with your own against others as well. Betting Pros, free app. Go download it today. For Pat Fitzmaurice, I'm Matt Perrault. We will talk to you next week for another week of NFL betting here for Betting Pros.
Mama's here.
I know. Hold on. I'll be right there. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Calm down. Let me say goodbye, and I'll help you.